is English by Singh, and today we are going to do Literature Class 10, Fiction 2, Mrs.Packletide's Tiger. Well, the story Mrs. Packletide's Tiger highlights the fact that women are jealous of one another. This is the nature of the women, that they cannot sustain the glory and pride of other women. They always are governed by the lust for love, wealth, and jealous activity against each other. That is what being shown in the story Mrs. Packletide's Tiger, where the world is governed by desire for wealth, love, and power. Mrs. Packletide is an exception because she is governed by her dislike for Luna Bimberton, her arch rival. Who is Luna Bimberton? Her arch rival, the competitor of Mrs. Packletide. Mrs. Packletide is jealous of, the glory and achievement of Luna Bimberton, who had flown in an Algerian airplane 11 miles, piloted by an Algerian pilot. And in the news, her photographs has come up, and glory has been published in the newspaper that she has got an achievement by flying in an Algerian airplane piloted by an Algerian pilot. And that news has really made Mrs. Packletide jealous. She cannot sustain that news and glory of Mrs. Luna Bimberton, and that is why she has decided to outshine the glory and achievement of Luna Bimberton by shooting a tiger. And the idea of shooting the tiger in the mind of Mrs. Packletide came not because she wanted to become a lady hunter, not because she had a lust for hunting, not because she was interested in proving herself a good hunter. It was just because she was jealous of Luna Bimberton's achievement. So she wanted to do something more extraordinary, more adventurous, which could outshine the glory of Luna Bimberton. Now what happened? Asks what happened. Now she had decided to shoot a tiger. For that she had selected a specific village in India. And she had appointed the villagers as the helpers. She knows it very well that the arrangement for shooting a tiger requires a horrendous task, and therefore she had given the villagers 1,000 rupees to make all the arrangements for shooting the tiger. And the villagers have been ready for doing all the arrangements just with the prospect of 1,000 rupees. They have constructed a platform above the ground, just at a height from where Mrs. Packletide could sit and shoot the tiger. And they have also arranged for a goat, a kind of a small animal which could tempt the attention of the tiger. And they have also deputed some of the children at the outer skirt of the village to beat the drum and make the tiger go inside the village and come at the spot where they have selected the platform. And they have also provided one lady companion, Lauza Mebin. Who is Lauza Mebin? Lauza Mebin is a lady companion. She is a paid companion of Mrs. Packletide. She had also been given money to work as a paid companion of whom? Tell me, Mrs. Packletide. Now the appointed day arrived on which the tiger was to be killed. And that tiger was an old one. Perhaps there was one fear in the mind of Mrs. Packletide that the tiger might die of old age and senility because it was too old. So before the tiger could be shot, it might die. That was the fear in the mind of Mrs. Packletide. So the appointed day arrived and all the arrangements had been made. Platform had been constructed at a suitable height from the ground, and Lauza Mebin was already there with Mrs. Packletide. Villagers were already there at the outer skirt of the city. Children were deputed at the very point from where the tiger would enter, just to beat the drum and make the tiger come inside. and then the appointed day arrived. Mrs. Packletide was ready with the gun and along with, Louza Mebin. The tiger, started walking, and it walked towards the goat. The goat was tied to a small tree nearby. The tiger saw the goat. It had started walking towards the goat. But because it was tired and weak, it just sat down and took rest. And then after some time, it stood up and just started walking towards the goat. Before it could reach the goat, Mrs. Packletide shot at the tiger, and wrongly the shot went to the goat. She hit the goat with her bullet, and the tiger died of the sound of the gunshot, and that is because of heart failure. So the tiger died of the heart failure, and the goat got stuck with the bullet. So there was an injury on the body of the goat. That was the bullet injury, and the tiger died of the sound that is due to heart failure. But the tiger was very old and weak, so he died of heart failure. This was known by only one person, that was Louza Mebin, the pet companion. Others, the villagers celebrated. They just made a trump because the tiger was killed. Nobody was bothered to see whether there was a bullet injury on the face or on the body of the tiger or not. Everybody, celebrated the trump, and they said that Mrs. Packletide had shot the tiger. The only one person was there who knew the reality about the shot, that was Louza Mebin. She just indicated, saying to, Mrs. Packletide, that your shot had wrongly hit the goat and the tiger died of heart failure. And then this really was an indication of blackmailing her, because she was very greedy and she wanted to extract some extra amount, 680, which was good enough to buy a luxurious cottage at the dark inn. And that is the reason why she indicated, Mrs. Packletide, that I knew this secret, and it will be just a fun on the party when I will tell the guests that you have not shot the tiger had died of the heart failure, you have rather shot the goat. And that really made Mrs. Packletide a big trouble, and she knew that now she would be blackmailed, and so she had to, give 680 extra amount other than 1,000 rupees to to Louza Mebin, just to keep her mouth shut. And that was the reason why now Mrs. Packletide decided no more to involve herself in the tiger shoot, and she just thought it was a very expensive venture, because she had to pay a lot of money, and then also she was not successful in shooting the tiger. Anyway, the villagers could know. The photographs of Mrs. Packletide came with the tiger. She had also decided to present a gift to to Luna Bimberton on her birthday, a real tiger skin bruise, and that she had invited Mrs. Packletide to her house. But contrary to her expectations, Luna Bimberton had refused the invitation. She had not even read the newspaper for several days, and out of jealousy. And so all her, desire remained a repressed desire, because neither she could read the newspaper in which the photographs of Mrs. Packletide was published, nor she could accept the invitation of, Mrs. Packletide to come to her house and have a dinner with her. Everything went just against the wishes of Mrs. Packletide, so that her desire remained a desire, and so she finally decided not to involve herself in any more of tiger shoot. And that is how the story ended. The one thing is there, that her dislike for Luna Bimberton cost her dearly, because she had to spend a lot of money to make all the arrangements for tiger shoot, and she had also give Louza Mebin extra amount to keep her mouth shut. And all together, she couldn't, outside the glory of Luna Bimberton, who had really got an achievement, because she refused to read the newspaper for any more days, and she also refused to accept the invitation, and her gift of real tiger skin brush was not even on the news, because she had refused the invitation. She had refused and that is how the entire story ended. The Packletide's tiger was shot, but it was all in vain. All her efforts remain in vain, because she couldn't, satisfy her ego and desire of outshining the glory of Luna Bimberton. Luna, thank you.